Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizzline jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizzline entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizzline is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by OrthoSouth, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
Speaking to you from Stamford, Connecticut, home of CBS Sports HQ. Bitter Doyle back in Memphis, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you like guys that bring a certain level of toughness to the basketball court, because that's what the Grizzlies used 2 picks to get last night. Let the record show. Javon Small's grandfather is my new favorite grandfather. Cool scene last night in Brooklyn as the second round of the 2025 NBA draft unfolded. We'll show it to you momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. When we finish this open, we're going to take a break. Come back and do 5 more things you need to know. Which one we're going to discuss? 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the NCAA has officially denied Dane Dange's request for another year of eligibility. So his career at Memphis appears to be over. We'll spend some time on that. We'll do it in about 20 minutes. Mets starting pitcher Griffin Canning, he left last night's game with an apparent Achilles injury. So Achilles injuries are they're everywhere. Basketball, baseball, everywhere. We're going to talk about that tendon that is the most ruining sports tendon in the world at this moment. We're going to do that a little later on in the show. Former Tampa Bay Rays star Wander Franco has been found guilty of sexually abusing a minor. He's likely done in MLB. I'll tell you more about that ugly story. We'll do that a little later on in the show. Speaking of ugly stories, future Hall of Famer Justin Tucker, he has been suspended for the first 10 games of the regular season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Now you know why Baltimore used a 6th-round pick on a kicker in the 2025 NFL draft. We'll discuss that situation. We'll do it in the second hour, and a couple of legends are set to play tonight in Memphis. Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson are in town. We'll spend a few minutes on that. We'll do it during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carry Out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the 2025 NBA draft because the second round of the 2025 NBA draft, it was held last night in Brooklyn. The Grizzlies picked 48th and 59th. They added 2 power conference players specifically. They added Javon Small from West Virginia and Jahmai Mashack from Tennessee. In exit interviews at the end of the season, you might remember Grizz GM Zach Kleiman. He said he wanted to add dogs. By most accounts, he just added 3 in the 2025 NBA draft. He got Cedric Coward on Wednesday night. He got Javon Small and Jahmai Mashack on Thursday night. Big Bet Bennett, does anything that happened last night matter much to you?
I think it matters just as far as your I like getting depth guys that have played in big time basketball games like these guys have. I mean, or in power conferences at least. I'm not sure how much time they'll get with the Grizzlies next season, but I like the picks. It's guys that I've seen play a lot, so that was kind of exciting. And I feel good that in theory we're going to have a lot of guard depth, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, it's fair to point out you can get excited about the second round of a draft every year if you want to. Doesn't bother me at all. And if you wanted to get excited about last year's second round of the draft, that makes some sense because you pulled a guy out of it, Jalen Wells, who ended up starting a lot of games for you. But broadly speaking, second round picks are not supposed to help a team immediately that is expected to compete, at least in their own heads, in the top half of the Western Conference. So we might talk about these players today and not talk about them much once the season begins, but that's not a fun way to look at it the day after the second round of the draft. So let's focus on the 2 guys that were selected last night, and let's start with Javon Small's Paw, because for me, he was the star of Thursday night.
Hold on, was it Paw or Pop?
Monica McNutt said Pop.
I think it's Pop.
But Javon Small seemed to say something along the lines of Paw.
Okay, all right. Let me do some digging.
You're going to need to dig, and it's possible we don't know for sure. It's also possible I just lean toward Paw because I like Paw better than Pop.
I like Pop. I like Pop. My dad is Pop to my son, so I like Pop.
Okay, but did you have? I might be speaking out of turn here. Did you have grandfathers? Of course,
yes,
you had grandfathers.
and I had a Papaw, so that's similar to Paw. So
identify your grandfathers right now by name.
Fred Doyle, and I can't remember my other grandfather's first.
No, Jesus Christ, I didn't mean for you to insult your family heritage. That's not what I was trying to do. I just meant, do you have a Paw, a Pop, a grandfather, a granddad? What did you call your grandfathers?
Papaw. Yeah.
Back when you used to remember, back when you knew their name.
Well,
back when you.
Yeah.
Back when they hadn't been gone so long that you forgot them forever.
Yeah.
Imagine living your whole life thinking, well, at least I got grandkids now. They'll remember me forever. They'll carry on my name.
Well, the first one was dead before I was born. It doesn't count.
You're not very good at carrying on anybody's name. I tell you that.
I'm carrying on the Doyle legacy just fine.
It doesn't feel like you are.
Yes, I am.
I had a better shot of identifying your grandfather than you did.
R.I.P. Papaw.
So you called both of your grandfathers Papaw?
No, my other grandfather was dead before I was born. I didn't call him anything.
Well, what did other people call him? Somebody called him something.
He was
called something. You don't even know. You're not carrying your family's name along very well.
Yeah, I'm not doing
your ancestors would be disappointed in you right now.
No, they love me.
It doesn't sound like.
All right.
It doesn't. If I were your ancestor, I wouldn't love you.
No one's here to hear about my family legacy, all right?
Your ancestors are so disappointed in you right now.
Whatever.
I don't know whether it's Pop or it's Paw. I like Paw. I had a Paw. I like Paw. Either way, last night, 37 picks are in the books. The Grizzlies are on the clock. Javon Small is sitting there, West Virginia guard. At one point, looked like he was going to be the Big 12 Player of the Year. Then that ended up being JT Toppin at Texas Tech. But at one point, he looked like he was going to be the Big 12 Player of the Year. Those 37 picks are in. The Grizzlies are on the clock. Javon Small sitting there with his family, hoping to hear good news. Then he's announced as the pick. His grandfather breaks down in tears. Monica McNutt eventually gets to talk to Javon Small about it. And Kyra, if you've got it queued up, let's show folks what either Pawpaw or Pop. Let's show them how that whole thing went down.
We're going to turn our attention over to Javon's table because Pop is over there, and he is emotional, as he should be. Javon, when you see your grandfather with that much enthusiasm, what goes through your mind?
My family is just my world, man. Just seeing my papa over there with me. He takes me to every single tournament since I was a little kid. Rarely misses any games, so, that's what I do it for.
How good is Javon Small's grandfather?
That was so good. Yeah, man.
Whatever we call him, how good is Javon Small's grandfather?
That was so good because, that was just like a you could tell, maybe at first he was trying to hold it back, and it was just like that burst of emotion that you can't hold in. That was really cool to see.
I was live on set last night, CBS Sports HQ, and that moment almost got me teared. I love stuff like that.
Me too.
I love watching. I started thinking about this last night. Fathers watch sons, or grandfathers watch grandsons. I love watching those things. My favorite things in sports sometimes. I find myself gravitating towards this stuff for whatever reason. We'll figure it out in therapy. But my favorite things are watching dads watch their sons get their first hit in the major leagues, or throw a no-hitter, or do something wild at the College World Series. I like watching proud men watch their sons or grandsons do awesome stuff. And Pawpaw last night, he had a moment. And I think that was my favorite thing of the second round. I don't know much more than what I was told during last night's telecast about Javon Small's family story. But that was the proudest man you could ever see on television last night. And you can't overstate the amount of energy and hours and everything else that man has clearly put into that younger man. And it all came to a head last night in Brooklyn. And of all the things, and listen, 59 players were selected over the past 2 days. On some level, they all had dreams reached. They're all awesome stories. But there was something about that moment that I thought really was the sweetest moment of Thursday night.
Yeah, completely agree. It was awesome.
So Drew Hill covers the Grizz for the Daily Memphian, as you know, and he broke down the Grizzlies draft in this way. With the 11th pick, they selected Cedric Coward out of Washington State. We did that story yesterday. He's going to be on the main roster. Then with the 48th pick, they select Javon Small. He is likely, according to Drew Hill, going to be on a two-way contract. Mm-hmm. And then with the 59th pick, they select Jahmai Mashack, who Drew Hill suggests will likely be competing for a two-way contract. So, like I mentioned, we talked about Cedric Coward yesterday. We just talked about Javon Small. Let's talk about Jahmai Mashack for a second. He was a 4-year player at Tennessee. Interesting story in the sense that never averaged more than 6 points per game, but he was arguably the best, or at least one of the best, perimeter defenders in college basketball. Some have described him as a, quote, dog, and it is notable that Zach Kleiman, right after the season ended in exit interviews, said that he wanted to add more players like that to the franchise. By all accounts, he just added 3. And I know most draft analysts have weighed in on the Grizzlies' 59th pick, Jahmai Mashack, and noted that though he does bring obvious stuff to the defensive end of the court, on the offensive end, he really doesn't bring much, which is a problem for a 6'4" guard. But I'm here to tell you that I have seen the other side of Jahmai Mashack, and the other side is basically, I don't want to overstate it, but basically Steph Curry. Kyra, let's show folks, if you got it queued up, how the 59th pick in the 2025 NBA draft can stretch the floor if given the opportunity.
Will inbounds, and here we go. Well, they turned down Gainey. Now Mashack's got to go. He will fire. He wins it! Jahmai Mashack wins it!
Mashack was a star of stars. In the last 10 minutes of this game, Mashack made big play defensively, big play after big play. Oh. Wow. Look at this group. Look at this group. Oh.
Big Ben Bennett, they say, some are saying, the 59th pick brings nothing on offense, but how would you respond after watching Jahmai Mashack sink a 30-footer against Alabama?
Well, I think the video just speaks for itself, and I thought I heard Diggy V say that he's like been hitting big shot after big shot leading up to that moment. So all I know him as is a game-winning player. That's all I know him as.
If you're going to be able to pull from there, you're going to be able to keep the floor space for Ja Morant, and so you can listen to all the other draft analysts if you want, or you can just believe what your eyes just showed you.
Yeah, correct.
If you want to listen to Jonathan Givony, listen to Jonathan Givony. I'm not trying to convince you of anything with my mouth. I'm just showing you video. And what I just showed you is the 59th pick in the draft. I'm presenting evidence. And the evidence I just showed you is the 59th pick in the draft, just burying 30-footers against an Alabama program that was in the Final Four just 2 seasons ago. So keep laughing if you want to, but I see a floor spacer. Jokes aside, he did shoot 34.3% on very few attempts, but still 34.3% from 3 in 4 years at Tennessee. Last season, the number was at 35.1% from three-point range. So I'm sure, again, jokes aside, that the hope is we know what he is on the defensive end of the court, like a real plus on that end of the court. Can he make an open three on the other end? 35.1% isn't great, but it's not 17%. It's not 24%. It's not 31%. Kawhi Leonard, and no, I'm not comparing them as players. They're nothing like each other. But, shot 25% from 3 in 2 years of college. In the NBA, he is at his career 39.2% from 3. That's an extreme example of improvement. I don't reference it as a likely comp. I just reference it to show that shooting is a skill that can be improved. Hard to improve athleticism, hard to improve heart, motor, dog, if you will, but shooting can improve. So if you end up with a contender led by Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, a young emerging star in Cedric Coward, and a physically overwhelming center in Zach Edey, perhaps Jahmai Mashack is the type of guard who could someday, you bring him off the bench, to really bother the other team's best perimeter player for about 15 minutes or so per game. If the 59th pick in the draft turns into that someday, awesome. That's what you did it for. As always, we'll see. Let's move on away from the Grizzlies franchise and congratulate a couple of guys. Lane Whitaker and I had done a pre-draft show on for Grind City Media earlier in the month. Cam Jones, Adou Thero, both were selected last night fairly early. Cam Jones, the ECS graduate, selected 38th. He's going to be an Indiana Pacer. That's a great opportunity. Think about this for a second. Yeah, in Indianapolis, they still got Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell. They're all still on the roster. But there are 34 guard minutes, 34 backcourt minutes that Tyrese Halliburton ate up this past season, and he's not going to be able to have any of them next season because of the ruptured Achilles that he suffered in Game 7 of the 2025 NBA Finals. I am not saying that Cam Jones should or will or deserves or anything as it pertains to whether or not he'll eat up all of those minutes or even some of those minutes. But as somebody at 6'5" has shown combo guard qualities and can make a shot, around 40% from 3 throughout much of his career at Marquette. if you have those qualities, and they got to get 34 minutes of backcourt play from somewhere, it's at least an opportunity for him to get some of those minutes. So throughout the history of the NBA draft, there aren't many examples of you slipping to the second round, being picked in the 30s, and on the night that you're picked by a team that was just in the finals, it's at least reasonable to expect you could get rotation minutes for a team that, again, was just in the NBA Finals, had just won the Eastern Conference. But Cam Jones out of ECS, he's going to have an opportunity to do that. Awesome that he was picked in the top 40 of any NBA draft, but especially awesome he's going to end up playing for a franchise that, again, was just in the NBA Finals just last week. Adou also selected. Pick 36. He's going to be teammates with LeBron and Luka. He's going to do it with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he's not just an Arkansas Razorback, which is, if you're younger, you just started watching college basketball or following NBA draft prospects, that's where you start with his story. But the reason I've sort of attached to this is that his father is Jahmai, who played at the University of Memphis. When I was a beat writer covering John Calipari's program for the Commercial Appeal, among the players he brought in, John Calipari, was Jahmai. He was a raw and limited basketball player at the Division I level. Ended up actually finishing his college career at Duquesne, but had a son, raised a son, and that son became an elite basketball prospect and was again selected, just like Cam Jones, in the top 40 of the 2025 NBA draft, and now he's going to get an opportunity to start his career, in theory at least, with Luka and LeBron as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. So just a cool night. I know the second round of the NBA draft doesn't get as much attention as the first round of the NBA draft. We didn't have Cooper Flagg to discuss last night, and we didn't even have Bronny James to discuss last night. But still, you saw 29 more players after the first 30 on Wednesday night get their names called last night. And for those 29 players, whether they ended up being selected where they thought they were going to be selected or headed to a franchise they wanted to head to, those are dreams come true. Think about every kid that's ever dribbled a ball in his driveway, at a gym, that's ever put on a jersey or a pair of sneakers. You think about, you could be Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or Kevin Durant. It happens for almost nobody. Almost nobody ever ends up in a situation where you get your name called by a commissioner or a deputy commissioner as a drafted human in a professional sports league. But even if it didn't get as much attention as the guys on Wednesday night got, last night 29 men got their names called, and a couple of them had real Memphis ties. Cam Jones grew up here. Adou father played here. Just an awesome night of dreams coming true, and now we get to see where their basketball careers go from here.
No, it's awesome, man. I'm very excited about these guys last night. I thought it was cool, too, like you mentioned with that second round, the fact that it was like a lot of guys that we've seen play. It was a lot of like stars of college basketball, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Jahmai Broome would probably be the biggest example of that. He went 35th in the draft to the Philadelphia 76ers. I was asked about that last night on CBS Sports HQ. He's a limited prospect at that level, I believe. I'm skeptical that it's going to work given his lack of lateral quickness, his inability to move his feet, his lack of vertical anything. But in Philadelphia, with a wide open Eastern Conference and a theoretical healthy Joel Embiid and Paul George, they're trying to push for it now. So they're not interested, or at least they weren't in that moment interested in drafting a 19-year-old who they can develop and see what he is in 2028 or 2029. Like, they're trying to push it through next season. And Jahmai Broome, as low as his ceiling might be, if you are somebody who thinks he has a low ceiling, he is probably at that point in the draft better equipped than most, and certainly better equipped than most teenagers to help Philadelphia accomplish something as soon as next season. So, as I said on CBS Sports HQ, he is not somebody everybody would have used the 35th pick on, but he might make sense in Philadelphia. So again, you'll turn on the TV at some point and the two leading candidates for National Player of the Year in college basketball this past season, they're going to be playing for teams that are supposed to be relevant. So often, the big names that go through the draft and then find themselves in the NBA, they're playing for irrelevant teams that don't win that much. And if they're not on TNT or ABC or ESPN, you totally forget that they even exist. That might not be the case for the two stars of college basketball this past season. Cooper Flagg's going to be playing on a Mavericks team that's expected to compete in the Western Conference, and Jahmai Broom's going to be on a Sixers team that is expected to compete in the Eastern Conference. So good stuff last night in the NBA, the second round of the 2025 NBA draft in the books. The Grizzlies added 2 players. When we come back, the NCAA has officially denied Dane Dange's request for another year of eligibility. Not definite yet, but it appears his college career at Memphis is likely over. We'll dive into that story next. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by OrthoSouth.
These are the Jordan 1, the crystals. These are the shoe that retails for $1,000. Oh, extra crystals. So if your crystals fall off, if your crystals fall off, actually these are the black crystals because they have. So the shoe has black crystals on there as well too. So you get an extra package of black crystals.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and OrthoSouth understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because OrthoSouth welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and OrthoSouth will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The NCAA has officially denied Dane Dange's request for another year of eligibility, so his career at the University of Memphis, it appears to be over. Big Bet Bennett, is this the NCAA being unfair to the University of Memphis again? How do you balance this?
I mean, Listen, I had no hope at all that he was going to get granted a waiver because I don't think the NCAA has ever granted the University of Memphis a waiver in anything that they've tried to get. So,
well, that's not true. That's not fair. That's not fair. Memphis has gotten waivers before.
Okay.
Do I need to remind you of Elliot Williams, the transfer from Duke, who transferred back home because his mother was battling an illness, and he got a waiver to play immediately in a time where not everybody got waivers to play immediately.
Okay.
Did you forget about that?
Like 2 decades ago.
It was maybe 2 decades ago, but it is something that happened.
Ago.
It is something that happened. It's a real thing that happened. You're a history major. You can look it up in the history books.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so there was that one instance. Okay, good.
There was that one time.
Good. There was that one time. No, I mean, basically, the reason they were trying to get the waiver was because when he was at I can't remember the name of the school that he was at, but
he only played. I'll give you
2
the basics.
games, right?
3. He played.
Okay.
He only played more than 3 games in 3 seasons of college basketball. You can Google exactly why, but he only played more than 3 games in 3 seasons of college basketball.
This was before Illinois, right?
Yeah, so I totally get why he tried for another year, but the NCAA denied it for reasons they'll have to explain someday. And now it appears Dane Danger has moved on, specifically with the Miami Heat. He's going to be on their summer league team. So there were other legal avenues for him to pursue if he wanted to. But if he's just going to join the Miami Heat summer league team and officially become a professional, that certainly suggests that his time at the University of Memphis is done. So if you were a Memphis supporter who was hoping you would get good news, even if Bennett's history suggested you were never going to, you're probably disappointed. And if you're wondering now, where does that leave the Tigers heading into next season, given that the most important pieces of the roster appear to already be in place? The answer, at least according to BartTorvik.com, is 76th or 72nd in the country, and 2nd in the American Athletic Conference, behind South Florida, which is ranked 63rd. How's that sound? 72nd in the country, behind USF in the AAC. USF is 63rd. That will put you 2nd in your mid-major conference. How does that sound, Bennett?
I mean, that doesn't sound good. I will believe that when I see it. Like, I want to, these other AAC, no offense, but like UAB was picked to finish ahead of us last year. We beat them 3 times. So
that's right.
I'll believe it when I see it on the floor. Another AAC team winning that league. But we'll see. It's obviously a huge loss because I think without question he had a chance to be the AAC Player of the Year coming into this season, or at least one of the preseason favorites. Like, the guy was a monster the entire second half of the season for the Tigers. And it's concerning the fact that you're giving up a lot of rebounds, right? Like, he was probably going to be, if not the leading rebounder in the league, one of them. And so it's a big void. I think they'll probably try to sign someone before the season starts. I bet they'll try to bring someone else in here. I don't think there's a lot out there right now in the transfer portal, but I bet they try to go get somebody.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that there's probably not an impactful player out there to get got. But Penny has publicly said that they have other players they expect to be a part of the program that haven't been announced yet. But the team that is publicly known is more or less probably going to be the team. And so what I hear you saying is that Dusty May is not in the American Athletic Conference anymore. And you'll believe another coach can supplant Penny Hardaway at the top of the AAC when you see it. And I like that attitude. But if you care about the computers at all, 72nd in the country combined with 2nd in the AAC, that is going to leave you out of the NCAA tournament. If that is actually your reality, you do not participate in the 2026 NCAA tournament. So
I think we're looking at a one big bid league. I think you're gonna need to win the league.
You're looking at a one bid league next season, and probably most seasons, if not every season going forward, regardless of whether the NCAA tournament expands or not. And so that's just the reality. As long as you play in this league, you probably need to win it to ensure you have a place in the NCAA tournament. And after this Dane Danger news, for whatever it's worth, the most prominent computer formula that post preseason rankings this early, that's Spartorvik.com, has Memphis 72nd in the country and second in the AAC behind South Florida. If it were to go down that way, they would likely miss the Tigers, the 2026 NCAA tournament.
Number 2.
Oh, Ben, I got more bad news with the New York Mets. And I'm not bringing this up just because it's the New York Mets. I'm bringing it up because how often do we talk about Achilles now relative to how often we talked about him, say, 10 years ago?
It has become an epidemic. It has become an epidemic in sports.
I think it's an epidemic in sports.
Yeah.
The most recent example, Griffin Canning, starting pitcher, New York Mets, left last night's game with an apparent Achilles injury. So now they're everywhere. Basketball, baseball, everywhere. We talk about that tendon that is just ruining one professional sports franchise after another. It feels like we talk about it more than we used to talk about it. And we talk about it more in the postseason, at least in basketball, than we talk about it in the regular season or at any other time in the calendar. Interesting story. Adam Silver was discussing this just a couple of days ago in advance of the first round of the NBA draft, said they are actually working on studies, and this was going on even before the Tyrese Halliburton injury, working on studies to try to figure out why are Achilles injuries happening at this rate. Even mentioned that they're bringing in AI to try to get to the bottom of whatever they can get to the bottom of. But check out these numbers. This is interesting to me. There are 7 known Achilles injuries in the NBA this season. So since the beginning of the 2024-25 NBA season to this moment, so throughout the whole thing, all 82 regular season games for every franchise plus the entire playoffs, 7 men in that league suffered Achilles injuries. 4 happened in the regular season. 3 happened in the playoffs. As you know, the playoffs are long, sure, feel like they last forever, but they are not nearly as long as the regular season. What do you make of that? That nearly the same number of Achilles injuries were suffered in the playoffs as were suffered in the entire regular season. Again, only 16 teams in the playoffs. In the regular season, you got 30 franchises playing 82 games each. You only had 4 people suffer Achilles injuries that entire time. But once we got to the playoffs, we're down to 16 teams and a smaller amount of games. You had nearly the same number of people, 3 this time as opposed to 4, suffer Achilles injuries in the playoffs. What do you make of that, Bennett?
I mean, I think the first thing that pops into my mind is that guys are going to play through injuries that they might sit out for in the regular season. Like if you have a nagging injury, if you have a calf strain, for instance, like you're going to try to play through that in the playoffs as opposed to in the regular season where you're likely going to sit out. That seems like the most likely excuse to me.
I think that is the most likely proper explanation for why this is happening so much in the postseason and not nearly as much in the regular season. Because in the regular season,
also you're playing harder.
Yeah, you're playing harder. You're playing through things you otherwise wouldn't play through. Brian Windhorst, after Halliburton tore his Achilles, ruptured it, had the stat. In the regular season, 23 different players were listed on a status report of having some sort of concern with a calf strain. 23 people. 22 of those players missed time. So in the regular season, when you have a calf issue, a calf strain, you do not play. In the playoffs, people were, Tyrese Halliburton among them, trying to play through them. And what we're learning is you should not do that. So when I talked to Michael Leaves from ESPN a couple of Mondays ago, right after this happened, one of the things I asked him, and he agreed with what I had already presented as what I believe would be the case. One of the things he said when I asked him whether the Tyrese Halliburton injury would change the way we do this, he said, yes, absolutely, he thinks so. And the reason is because, and what we mean specifically, up until really Tyrese Halliburton crumbled to the ground in Game 7 in the NBA Finals, if somebody had a calf strain, whether it was Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, or anybody else, we would say it's up to the player. If he wants to play, how do you tell him he can't play? He's healthy enough to play. It could go well. There's no guarantee something bad will happen. There's no guarantee he'll rupture his Achilles. If he can play, how do you tell him he cannot play? I think that changed the moment Tyrese Halliburton went down. I think you will have franchises going forward, even in the playoffs, even in Game 7 of important series, perhaps even in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. You will have franchises who sit down with a important player or just a role player and say, with this injury, specifically a calf strain, we are not going to allow you to play. We know you can. We know you can. We know that it might go well, but this injury is too severe and it's happening too often. We're not going to allow you to put yourself on that court under these circumstances. That really has not been the case in the playoffs in recent years, and especially wasn't the case in this postseason that we just concluded. But going forward, it's going to have to change because people can talk about the season's too long or these players play too often, but I think the most obvious thing is exactly what you said. The most obvious explanation for why this is happening so often in the playoffs, it's in the regular season. They don't really try to play through these things. In the postseason, you're trying to push your body, and what we're learning over and over again is you cannot push your body to this extreme without putting it at severe risk, and that risk is going to cost Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Halliburton probably not only the conclusion of these playoffs, but all of next season.
Number 3.
Former Tampa Bay Rays star Wander Franco has been found guilty of sexually abusing a minor, likely done in Major League Baseball. Did you read the details on this story yesterday?
Yeah, man.
Woo! You remember this. This guy's a star.
Talked about it.
When this story just broke, the Rays were headed to the playoffs. Wander Franco had just recently signed an 11-year contract extension worth $182 million. I know in our market, people do not follow baseball the way they follow football or basketball, but this is the equivalent of like Paolo Banchero getting caught up in something of this. Like a young star in the NBA getting caught up in something that could not only damage his career and reputation, but end his career and ruin his reputation. That is what has happened to Wander Franco. He had signed an 11-year, $182 million contract. If you were trying to identify the next wave of stars in Major League Baseball, he had to be on that list. And then he's under investigation after some social media post for inappropriate behavior with a minor, and he's never played a game since and will probably never play a game in Major League Baseball again. Yesterday, found guilty in the Dominican Republic of sexually abusing a minor, and the minor, reported age at the time of the incidents, 14 years old. He was 21.
Yikes.
That's real yikes.
That's terrible.
Oh, it gets worse. The mother of the child, let's put an accurate label on it, the child. The mother of the child was also convicted of trafficking her daughter.
Jeez.
Wander Franco was spending money with this mother, allegedly, who was trafficking the daughter, her 14-year-old daughter, to a professional baseball player. I told you it got worse, didn't I?
It's about as bad as it gets, dude.
It feels like that's about as bad as it gets. Let me read you straight from the story. I'm going to read you 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
Tell me how bad this is. Franco met the girl online and had sex with her twice in December 2022, according to prosecutors. To see her in person, he would send helicopters or cars to pick her up near her hometown of Puerto Plata and bring her to his home in another part of the Dominican Republic. I'm not going to mispronounce Dominican Republic of cities. When police raided the girl's home, they found $68,500 in U.S. dollars and another 800,000 Dominican pesos which amounts to around $13,700 US, according to prosecutors. At one point, the top prospect in baseball, Franco debuted at 20 years old in 2021 and was an immediate star for Tampa Bay, which had signed him as a 16-year-old for $3.8 million. After a second season, the Rays negotiated a long-term deal with Franco, the largest in franchise history. Before the allegations, he was in the midst of a breakout season in 2023 and named an All-Star for the first time. Like, this was the guy. If Paul Scheme's the guy's on the mound, Wander Franco was supposed to be the guy at the plate. And now, even if Major League Baseball allowed him to return because of this conviction, according to legal analysts, he'll probably never be able to get a work visa in the United States again. Like, even if Major League Baseball said, come on back if you want to, he probably can't legally work in America ever again. So, career over. At least career over that he thought he was going to have. What a wild story.
And I guess, like, if you're the Rays, you just void all that money? Like, you just...
you're off the hook. As long as he is
Yeah.
on this list with Major League Baseball that prevents him from playing, you're off the hook for that contract. So, yeah, it's not like the Rays are stuck paying this $182 million. But, my God, a young baseball star blew up his entire career and a $182 million contract because he was, according to prosecutors, sending a helicopter to pick up a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, he's an idiot.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's just about as dumb as it gets.
Or sick.
Sick in the head. Yeah, that
or
too.
sick in the head. Or just sick in the head. What a wild situation.
Wild.
Speaking of sick in the head, go ahead and hit that button. Let's go to story number 4.
Okay.
Number 4.
Future Hall of Fame kicker Justin Tucker has been suspended for the first 10 weeks of the upcoming NFL season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. So now you know why Baltimore used a 6th-round pick on a kicker in the 2025 NFL draft. They knew what was coming. Justin Tucker, career over? You think career's over? I think career's probably over.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's obviously been in the league for a long time now at this point. And so, yeah, once they drafted a kicker, he's done there probably, right? He's done in Baltimore. And, yeah, I mean, I know a kicker is important, but in the grand scheme of the league, like, it's not that important, right?
Well,
like,
there was once upon a time where he was the greatest kicker on the planet.
That's right.
And so maybe in that moment you'd be able to look the other way once this suspension was done and be like, hey, we're just trying to win football games. We're going to employ him for the same reason other franchises employ troubled people. But he's not that anymore.
Right.
He has fallen off. Some would say he's washed. I'm not willing to go there, but some would say he's washed.
He missed some big kicks last year.
Some would say he's washed. And now he has this connected to him. 16 different massage therapists in the Baltimore area have accused him of misconduct. He is banned from multiple salons. So I don't know what the salons are called in Baltimore, but like, think about if it was Gould's in Memphis. Like, imagine he can't go to 3 different Gould's because he's acted inappropriately at them, and they have banned him from these places. 16 different massage therapists in the Memphis area. Think about this. If they had all accused one of the most famous athletes you have in the community of sexual misconduct, inappropriate behavior. That is what happened to Justin Tucker. And I'm all for, I guess, on some level, innocent until proven guilty and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to keep it simple.
16?
16's a big number, bro.
It's a big number.
16 different people say you're doing the same thing with them over and over again, I'm going to believe the 16 people over you. If it's just your word against one person's, maybe I can find some way to give you the benefit of the doubt. But when it's 16 different women all saying the exact same thing, and you're banned from multiple salons, like, if you ever want to know if Justin Tucker is guilty as accused, think of it from this perspective. What is the best client a massage therapist could have?
An NFL player, a professional athlete.
I'll make it even simpler, but you're on the right track.
Someone rich.
A A rich person who just lays there. A rich person who loves massages for whatever reason and just lays there. That is a dream. Imagine if you were a hairstylist and you had somebody who was just capable of getting in the chair and sitting there and they needed their hair cut every day. I know nobody needs their hair cut every day, but imagine if you're a hairstylist and there's somebody who wants to have their hair cut every day and they just sit there and let you do your job and they don't say a word and they don't get out of line. That's a dream. That's a dream. This guy was banned from multiple salons in the Baltimore area. It makes no sense for multiple salons to say you can't come in our doors anymore unless you were getting too wild too often. And this happened at multiple places in the Baltimore area. 16 different massage therapists accused him of inappropriate behavior. So he can make all the statements he wants to. His wife can sit right beside her if she wants to. But, like, this is what it appears to be. And the NFL's investigation, following up local journalism investigation in Baltimore, which is how this story was first brought to the public anyway. So congrats to them and tip of the hat to them. But the NFL's investigation, it went down the same path and concluded the same things. Like, this guy's a creep. We spent a lot of time talking about Deshaun Watson and all of the allegations against him as he was a quarterback in Houston at the time. This seems to be very, very similar. Not as high profile of a football player because he's a kicker, not a quarterback, but this seems to be the same thing. What Deshaun Watson was doing allegedly in the Houston area for so many years, it appears Justin Tucker was doing in the Baltimore area, and now this is his way of paying a price he'll likely never kick in Baltimore again, and maybe not in the NFL at all.
Number 5.
Two legends are in town and scheduled to play tonight in Memphis. Big Bet Bennett, Willie Nelson, and Bob Dylan are in town.
How about that? That's pretty cool.
How about that? It is pretty cool. I'm going to go tonight. It's going to be contingent on a lot of stuff, like me getting to the airport on time. Right. I got to get there. All right. But if I get there, if things go as planned, I am planning to go tonight. But I'm not excited about it. I'm only going, this is hand to heart the truth, because my kids want to see Bob Dylan, because they have grown up listening to Bob Dylan and they enjoyed the Bob Dylan movie.
Yeah.
They want to see Bob Dylan, and I want them to be able to say, when they're my age or any age, that they saw Bob Dylan. And I want them to be able to say that they saw Willie Nelson. Like, these are two of the all-time great songwriters. That's not hyperbole. These are two of the all-time greats. And they'll be in Memphis tonight. And I want my children to be able to say that they saw them one day, particularly if they're interested in seeing them, and they are. So we're going. But I don't know that I'm going to enjoy it.
Oh, I bet you will.
They're both. I even watched on YouTube last night. I dove in, just like recent Bob Dylan, recent Willie Nelson.
Yeah, because he's performing some throwbacks. He's performing some songs he hasn't performed in a while.
Yeah, and I don't care about that one way or another. I just really struggle, and this is I think this is a me thing more than this is a me thing. But I don't like seeing people in such a diminished state. Like, I'm not even trying to make jokes, but I would struggle to watch Joe Biden interviews or even debates as we were going through the last presidential election, because I could see him struggling in a way that he didn't used to struggle. And that has always made me uncomfortable. Watching people struggle in a way they didn't used to struggle has always made me uncomfortable. And I feel like that's what I'm going to see tonight. I'm going to see Willie Nelson. I'm going to hear those songs that I love and grew up with. But I'm going to watch a man struggle to do what he's trying to do. And the same thing with Bob Dylan. And that makes me uncomfortable. I'll have a good time, I guess, but I would just prefer to remember everybody the way I remembered them and not see it in this state. That's not a great commercial for the concert, I understand. But do you hear where I'm coming from at all?
A little bit. I mean, I think, like, dude, these guys, I mean, they've got, like, the best bands in the world behind them, right? Like, it's going to sound awesome. I think it's going to – I hear where you're coming from, but – I think it's going to sound really good. I do. I do. I think it's going to be a good show.
I hope so. These are
I don't
two
know
of
if
my
I'm going
favorites.
yet or not. I don't know if I'm going yet or not. I got to figure out our plans. I've seen both of them, luckily, right?
Yeah.
So if I don't make it, I won't feel like I missed out on something super important. But if you've never seen either of them, then I would highly consider going to this.
If I had never seen either, I would 100% be eager to go.
Yes.
Just so I could say, I saw Bob Dylan, I saw Willie Nelson. But like you, I have seen Bob Dylan multiple times. I have seen Willie Nelson multiple times. I love them both. Like, they're two of my absolute favorites.
Me
like,
too.
If I want somebody to write a sentence to impress me, like Bob Dylan can do that as well as anybody. If I want somebody to write a sentence that'll move me, Willie Nelson can do that as well as anybody. Like, these are two of my absolute favorites. And if you haven't seen them, they are two of the all-time greats. This could be, an opportunity to knock that off of your to-do list. And perhaps, the last opportunity to ever see them in person. Had I never seen them, I would want to go tonight, but I've already done all of those things. Now I just know I'm going to see them in what I believe will be a diminished state, and I don't love that aspect of it. But I'm going to go, and I really did think, I think you agree with this because I think I've heard you say this before. If you've never seen these two, I would go, if only because you'd be able to say, hey, I saw two of the all-time greats on a random Friday night in June in Memphis. Because I do have one of those regrets. It's not something like, that keeps me up at night. But right before his death, I had an opportunity to see Tom Petty at FedEx Forum, and I did not go do it.
It was a hell of a show, too. It was a hell of a show. I still go back and watch the videos on my phone of that concert.
I remember it was a weeknight. I don't remember what night of the week.
It was here at FedEx Forum.
I created reasons that I was too busy to go. Like, I don't have time, or, it's a weeknight, or whatever excuses you make not to do something. And it wasn't long after that he abruptly died.
Yep.
And Tom Petty's a legend, an icon, one of the all-time greats. And I had never seen him. Like, if you would have asked me a month before that show, list 10 people you've never seen in concert that you would like to see, like Tom Petty might have been on that list. And then he was in downtown Memphis, and I just did not go. And then what happened. And I've always had that in my head. Like, I wish I would have just got off the couch or done whatever I needed to do to go to that concert and see Tom Petty. So if you've never seen Bob Dylan or Willie Nelson, tonight is an opportunity to see an all-time great. I'm looking forward to taking my children, so they'll have that memory.
It's a cool venue, too. Radiance Amphitheater at the Garden is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward. Bring the long chairs,
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night. Provided I get there, it's going to be a fun night. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to my children having that memory. But, the first time I saw Bob Dylan, he seemed like it was a diminished version of himself. And that wasn't in 2025. And, age will get all of us. I guess that's what I'm saying. So it'll be an interesting night. Two of all-time greats performing in Memphis. If you're there, I look forward to seeing you. Be back with GP's Carryout.
There are futures for Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400. Hitting 400 at the All-Star break, plus 600.
Oh, wow.
To have a 400 batting average in the regular season, plus 3,800. To win the Triple Crown is only plus 145.
I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the season.
I don't either. I that would be
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Show presented by OrthoSouth. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on day 2 of the 2025 NBA draft. That doubles as round 2 of the 2025 NBA draft. It happened last night in Brooklyn, and the Grizzlies selected 2 players. One of them was Javon Small, guard out of West Virginia. The other, Jahmai Mashack, a guard out of Tennessee. According to Drew Hill, Daily Memphian, Javon Small is expected to receive a 2-way contract from the Grizzlies. Jahmai Mashack will be given an opportunity to compete for a 2-way. Summer League could be interesting. But Zach Kleiman, and I think this is the main takeaway from day 2 of the 2025 NBA draft, Zach Kleiman had said at exit interviews right after the end of the season that it was a priority, that he would like to bring more players into the franchise with a certain type of mindset. And there is a common thread between the players they selected first on Wednesday and then on Thursday. Cedric Coward has a certain mindset that is valued in professional sports. You hear things like approaches the game like Kobe Bryant, killer, dog, these types of terms. And then with Javon Small, like he called himself that last night. Jahmai Mashack is undeniably that type of player. So it does appear that the front office prioritized people with a certain type of mindset. Sure, the basketball stuff's got to be there as well. You can't just think your way onto an NBA court. But getting people wired a certain way is something that Zach Kleiman said he would like to do. And in the 2025 NBA draft, they certainly leaned that direction. Who knows if the 2 players they selected on Thursday night will ever make a tangible impact with the Grizzlies at the NBA level, but they certainly are wired in a certain way, and you can understand why they were selected where they were selected.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you to the WNBA, Big Bet Bennett.
Let's do it. We got one last night. Let's go.
We've got a full schedule tonight, and I'm going to take you to the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. It's the Fever and the Wings. Paige Beckers, #1 pick, 2025 WNBA draft, is, of course, the star of the Dallas Wings. Interesting situation in Dallas. They got the #1 pick in the NBA draft, Cooper Flagg, and the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, Paige Beckers. Tonight, Indiana, 2.5-point favorite on the road. The total's 168.5, 7:30 Eastern tip, 6:30 Central. It's on Ion. How are you going to act?
Well, it's a second night of a back-to-back for the Fever, and they're traveling. So I think I'm kind of liking Dallas here.
You're leaning towards Paige Beckers.
I mean, Caitlin's still out. They lost to the Sparks last night, who aren't very good. I I'm gonna go Dallas here.
Bennett wants to get some points. He's going to take the Wings plus the 2.5 points.
Yeah.
He's got Paige Beckers at home. He says people, even the Indiana Fever, they don't walk straight into the American Airlines Center. They don't walk into American Airlines Center and handle Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings like that. Bennett's got the Wings plus 2.5. Tips at 6:30. You can watch it on ION.
What are we watching on TV?
I guess we're doing SmackDown on USA Network, where tonight John Cena and CM Punk are expected to close the show.
Are we in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think we're there yet.
Well, I thought the event was this weekend.
Maybe we're there already.
I think we're there. Unless
We
they're
might already be there.
There's no way they're all traveling tonight.
I've lost my passion.
Well, the OTC, unfortunately,
he just got cast in a movie.
He just got cast in the new Street Fighter movie. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I saw someone suggest this, and I tend to agree. I wonder how much longer we're gonna have the OTC full time.
Bennett, don't talk like that.
I know, dude. I feel like this is going the way of The Rock. I do.
Why are you talking like that?
The OTC's been wrestling a long time. He's been wrestling for a long time, and now they want to cast him in movies. I mean, I've seen this before. This before.
You know how this happens.
I think we got to appreciate him while we have him. That's all I'm saying.
We didn't. They were booing him. They would boo him. They didn't. He would tell people to acknowledge him, and for a while
and they wouldn't.
would.
Yeah.
But by the end, it was getting a little shaky.
We are in Saudi Arabia tonight, by the way.
Well, that means they're probably doing it right now.
I was going to say, what time does... Hang on. It says it right here. What time does SmackDown start? We're going to be... Okay, why do they do this? Like, where they... It's an article that says, what time does it start? And then I have to, like, scroll all the way to the bottom to get the...
It's 5:37 p.m. in Saudi Arabia right now. They're probably about to tape the show.
It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be a pre-taped show. That's what it's going to be, because it's airing normal time. Yeah.
7. It's late. They're probably doing it right now. It's going to be pre-taped. I don't like it. I've lost my passion.
I don't
like it. I find I have more time and more enthusiasm about following this stuff in the middle of basketball season when I am totally overwhelmed. I will still make time for this somehow. And now I can't find time to even care. I've lost my passion.
I've lost my passion a little bit too. I need some juice. Need
you guys some juice.
I mean, listen. Don't bring back the OTC this weekend though. Listen. This is a throwaway premium live event. It just is. It always is. So whatever. We'll holler at me during SummerSlam.
I've lost my passion.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it back because, in all seriousness, it is nice to have something to look forward to watch live on TV on Monday nights and Friday nights. Like, hey, this thing will be on tonight, and I can turn it on, and I don't have to watch every minute, but it'll be interesting on some level. And I've lost my passion.
So we got Night of Champions. It's going to be John Cena and CM Punk, right? That's the big event.
So they're just setting this up.
Yeah.
I've lost my passion.
I'll watch.
I'm going to Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson. I don't think I'm going to see it. I'll read about it tomorrow.
I'll fill you in.
I'll read about it. You just tell me what happened. I don't care anymore.
What's the best thing we've read?
So over at CBSSports.com, Adam Finkelstein and Kyle Boone gave grades for every pick of the 2025 NBA draft. We talked about Cedric Coward yesterday. Let me tell you what they wrote about Javon Small and Jahmai Mashack. Here's what they wrote about the Grizzlies selecting Javon Small out of West Virginia. They gave it an A grade. This is a great pick that can help fill a need for Memphis, his backcourt depth and is appropriate value for a guard like Small. He's a 4-year college player who averaged 18.6 points and 5.6 assists last season at West Virginia, and I'm a big believer in his disruptive defense and selfless style translating to the NBA. Positive stuff there. Let's go down to 59. Here's what they wrote about Jahmai Mashack. Mashack is one of the most versatile defenders in this draft class and is a heck of a way to send off the 2025 NBA draft cycle. He hit above 35% on threes the last 2 seasons at Tennessee and has a chance to grow into a 3-and-D player in the NBA because of his ability to guard up and down the lineup. So 2 players whose scouting report, if you will, both emphasize what they can do on the defensive end of the court and their approach to that end of the court. I don't think that's a coincidence. They were drafted for those purposes. You can read all about that. You can find it on the homepage right now, the draft grades, cbssports.com.
What's on tap next week?
Oh, man. First off, it's a 4-day week, national holiday next week.
Oh, that's right. It's 4th of July week. Caught up to me.
We'll be celebrating America's birthday.
I love it.
This time next week.
Yeah, it's a 3-day work week, actually.
3-day work week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah, we're off on the 3rd, buddy.
How about that?
So
it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday work week.
Mm-hmm.
How about that, Bennett?
Shout out. I'm excited.
I'm excited, too. NBA free agency starts Monday.
Yeah, and then we're going to get right into Summer League.
Oh, buddy, it's happening. It's happening. Should be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it already. So enjoy your weekend. I'm going to enjoy mine. If you're out at a concert tonight, perhaps I'll see you there. Either way, let's meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.
Get to the main event. And you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment. And they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience, collaborate with national and local artists, and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up and show out at Open Call Auditions. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger buzzer beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency